Hey babes, welcome back to my channel. Today is day 5 until my birthday. I am vlogging every day for the next 7 days, but today is not going to be a vlog because it is Sunday. And on Sundays, I practice a Sabbath, or I observe a Sabbath on Sundays. So I don't do anything that is labor intensive on Sundays. And I'm going to tell you guys all about that, how that started. And it is just one of those things that I think that I'm going to be doing indefinitely because I just love it. It's transformed my wellness. It's been very instrumental. It's been in the last year of helping me to kind of transform my wellness journey. So I wanted to share more about that with you guys since it is Sunday. And it's easier for me to do these videos, and I'm always choosing easy on my Sabbath day. So for those of you who are new here, I'm Shantae, and I share my wellness journey. I share my journey with fibroids. And so that's typically what I talk a lot about. But and today's video is going to be about that too. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure you hit the subscribe button, like this video, tell your friends about it, share this video, all the things, okay? Especially since it's about to be my birthday. But also, if you are new, introduce yourself in the comments. I would love to get to know you. I would love to meet you and maybe even meet you in person one day. Who knows? But today, like I said, I didn't want to vlog. I wanted to do something that was just easier for me. And it kind of lines up with me having a Sabbath practice or observing a Sabbath. And so for those of you who don't know, I am Christian. However, and so that's kind of how I got introduced to this concept of the Sabbath. However, you do not have to be Christian to practice or to observe a Sabbath. So I want to talk a little bit more about that and how I guess I got introduced to the concept. So when I was younger, my grandmother, she would talk about or kind of mention like not doing certain things on Sundays. In fact, I do feel like at one point it was very common for people to not do certain things on Sundays. For example, like you could not run the washer and dryer on Sunday. You couldn't do laundry on Sunday. And I don't recall her really specifically talking about observing a Sabbath. I don't think I really remember her, explicitly saying that or talking about it. It was just kind of one of those rules that she had. Um, yeah, I don't remember her specifically saying it. But and of course, growing up in Christianity, I would hear a lot or hear observing the Sabbath day mentioned. But it's never really been this huge thing. So maybe like a year ago, maybe a little bit over, maybe a year ago, I heard this sermon preached by Jada Edwards, and she talked about living a Sabbath lifestyle. And if I can go back and find that sermon, I'll actually link it below if you're interested in watching that. But it really changed my perspective about what Sabbath actually means and what it actually is. And also, I have been reading my Bible in a year, and I've kind of or I'm doing like a Bible in a year devotional, and that also has kind of, I guess, shaped how I view observing a Sabbath. So I think last year I decided to start observing a Sabbath myself, or maybe I should say intentionally observing a Sabbath or having more intention behind it. And the results have been excellent for me, especially spiritually, have been excellent for me. And so one of the things, actually, let me pull up because I had gotten a definition here because I wanted to give you guys like a general definition. So the Sabbath is a weekly day of rest, cessation from work and or worship. So I think in Judaism is practiced and Christianity is practiced. I'm not sure what other religions practice a Sabbath, but in Christianity, a lot of us are kind of more relaxed. I don't want to speak for all Christians when I say this, but we're a little bit more relaxed. But I decided last year to actually lean into it more. And I just realized that there is a reason beyond, almost beyond words, that we should actually be practicing Sabbath. In fact, like I said, whether you're Christian or not, you should be practicing a Sabbath. And and the reason for that, if y'all see me glancing, is because I got some little notes because I don't want to go off on a tangent. And there are like certain points that I want to make sure I get. So for me, practicing a Sabbath, at first, it was kind of about getting myself more rest, right? I'm just like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm burnt out. As a matter of fact, I was I had this therapist that I was seeing, and the subject of me being burnt out came up. And at the time, I don't know if being burnt out necessarily hurt, explaining to me that I was dealing with burnout and I had been dealing with it for a long time. I don't know if it necessarily resonated with me in the moment when she was saying it. But eventually I really started to see it. Like once somebody points something out, you're able to see it. So I was really able to see the impact that the burnout was having for me. But it was still like a couple years. Even now I still feel like I am recovering from burnout, but observing a Sabbath has been something that has been helpful for me with that. And the reason why, or one of the reasons why, is because initially when I started doing this, I did it because I was like, you know what? I need a day where I'm just not doing stuff. Stuff being anything in general. Like I'm not working. I'm not focused on taking care of my family. I'm just not doing stuff, right? Because we think that, if we just stop doing all the things, that is going to cure our burnout. But what I actually found is that it was deeper than that. You don't really cure burnout with a couple weeks of rest or reset. Like it takes time to actually, get rid of burnout or to get out of that burnout mode. And if you guys would like me to do a video talking more about that, let me know in the comments because I do have lots of thoughts that I want to share with y'all about that. So let me know if that's something that you want me to talk more about. But I thought that, okay, if I take more naps, because that's what I was using this day for. I was like, I'm going to take more naps, right? And I did that. And, I would feel a little bit better. But eventually, what I came to realize is that I didn't just need naps. I really needed to learn how to surrender. And so for me, I had to kind of learn how to, not kind of, I had to learn to surrender. I really had to learn that I am not in control of everything. I cannot control everything. And for me, that has been the big basis of observing a Sabbath. For me, that has been my biggest takeaway is the peace that comes from just releasing and letting go. And so because I'm a Christian and I believe in God, it for me actually made my relationship with God better because I learned that, okay, I am really, because I think that on some level, on a very like low level, I might would admit or say like I'm not in control, right? God is in control. But I don't think that I really actually believed that until I started practicing or observing a Sabbath. And the reason for that is because I grew up in the 90s. If you grew up in the 90s, early 2000s, we are just the children of hustle culture. We are the children of working harder. We are the children of I'll sleep when I'm dead. We like that. So, unfortunately, a lot of us grow up taking all of that in, taking all of that, just all the hustle and the desire. And so unlearning that for me particularly has been very, very difficult. I struggle. It is something that I struggle deeply with. And I don't think I really understood the impact it had on me until I started having a Sabbath day, really observing a Sabbath day. So, one of the big things that I realized about observing a Sabbath day is the first thing is that it helps you to have more dependence on God, if that's what you believe. If you don't believe in God, I believe that it will still help you to realize that you cannot control everything. If you are a control freak, start observing a Sabbath. If you are someone who thinks that everything that you have and you do, like, can change every single thing about your life, start practicing the Sabbath, and it will totally change your perspective. For me, like I said, I appreciate the way that it has helped me be able to have more dependence on God. The other thing that it really helps with is, for me, it's really been helpful of having me kind of retreat from capitalism, materialism, and, like I said, just this hustle harder mentality, hustle harder culture. I don't care how evolved you are. I don't care how spiritual you are. We live in America. I live in America. Capitalism is, yeah, capitalism is just insane, and it will drive you insane. And so for me, practicing a Sabbath has helped me to really retreat and take a step back and kind of like get out of the it's helped me participate less in capitalism. It's helped me to say, you know what, I actually don't need to do more. I actually don't need to have more. So that was super helpful for me in being able to just get more rest, get more deep rest. And also, I'm a person whose brain runs all the time. Sometimes I am exhausted by my thoughts. I'm really exhausted by my thoughts. But when I observe the Sabbath, what it helps me to do is sometimes, even if my mind is running, with all these ideas or all these things to do, I actually will tell myself, we're not doing that today. Sometimes I actually say it out loud, but I will tell myself, we are not doing that today. And what it's done is it's helped me to learn how to be able to relax more. It's helped me to learn how to just be more, because I don't think that I am an expert at just being. That is not really honestly, just being is not really a comfortable place for me. So observing a Sabbath has helped me to practice and build that, for lack of a better word, skill of just being. Because I respect people and have so much admiration for people who can just be, who can just exist, because that is not something that really comes naturally or easy to me, or sometimes it feels very uncomfortable for me. So I've actually had to really learn that and lean into that. The other thing that observing a Sabbath day helps is getting that deep rest or achieving deep rest. And like I said, because I'm learning to be able to kind of shut my brain down, relax my body more, just do just dilly that. Like sometimes on Sunday I will dilly dally. Or I'll just sit in the bed and do nothing. Or I will put on a boring show. I really okay, I'm not calling Girlfriends boring, but I really like Girlfriends, but because I've seen that show so many times, it's almost like my brain doesn't have to take it in as much because I watch that so much. That's like my comfort show. So sometimes I'll put that on and sit in the bed and just do nothing. Just relax, just do nothing. And so it's that day that I kind of give myself that. Even with even my social life, I observe the Sabbath in my social life by hanging out with people who are joyous, who I can relax with, who I can be myself with, who I can just be with on Sundays if I'm going to do anything social. But on Sundays, I observe that day for rest, church, and family. So if we and sometimes friends, because some my friends are like my family. So sometimes friends. So just hanging out, just being, just doing the literally doing the least. Like that is my day to do the least. Now, if you are someone that wants to incorporate this into your own life, I would suggest really any day can work. It doesn't have to be Sunday. It's just whatever day you choose, whatever day works better. I choose Sunday because basically at the time that we go to church, kind of, I don't really want to do anything like before or after that. So it just kind of works that I'm just like, this is the day that I'm not going to do anything. Also, sometimes in my professional life, Sunday is usually a day where nobody is working. So I don't have to worry about being bombarded with work on a Sunday. And also, my son typically doesn't have games on Sundays. Occasionally he will, but typically he doesn't. So it just works better for me. But you can observe a Sabbath on any day. Like whatever day works best for your life situation and your schedule. Because again, this doesn't just have to be a religious concept. This is really about helping you to achieve rest, helping to prevent burnout, helping to recover from burnout, because you're going to need yourself to learn to get in a relaxed state so that you can have better digestion and better gut health, so that you can have better hormone health. Like that requires you to learn to just be. Now, I think that is everything that I got on my notes. Let me know in the comments if this resonated with you. Let me know if you already observe a Sabbath and what day you like to do it in. Also, let me know if what are your boundaries? Like, what are your big boundaries when it comes to observing a Sabbath day if you are someone who does that? So thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.